Hey guys, how's it going? Ron Paul is going to get all his delegates. And it may not seem like much because, if you win delegates, you're supposed to get your delegates, right? Well, Ron Paul has been blacked out by the mainstream media. The Republican Party has blacked him out. And they've just done everything they can to poke him in the eye. Now, of course, they're asking all the Ron Paul supporters to come and support Romney. And I've been getting calls. So I think that maybe the pressure from us, because every time they call me and ask me who I'm going to support, I tell them I'm writing in Ron Paul. They're like, oh, well, that ain't going to help anything. Obama will get reelected. I'm like, yeah, so what? I will never vote ever in my life again for the lesser of two evils. I'm going to vote for the man that I think is the right man. If you don't know about Ron Paul and you think that I'm a crazy guy, well, that's your own fault because you refuse to inform yourself. If you really want to know, type in Ron Paul's name in the YouTube search bar. See what you find. Dig it up. See what you can find. I could tell you all about it. I could let you know about his voting records. I could let you know that he's never gone against the Constitution ever in any of his votes, and that's his main thing. And I could also tell you that right now, what he's doing for America is the biggest thing that's ever been done for America by any presidential candidate during the election. And that is he's fighting like crazy to pass a law that would allow the Congress to audit the Fed. And when I say the Fed, a lot of people are like, the Fed? What's the Fed? The Fed is the Federal Reserve. It's not really federal in any way. It's a private it's not even government. It's a company. And what happened is years ago, the Congress was concerned that somehow or another, if you give Congress the power to print money, that they would abuse it. And I could understand that. But at least if they printed money and they used it, it would be our money and we would use it for our needs. Instead, what they did was they decided to create a Federal Reserve or allow a Federal Reserve to exist. And then what we do, this is weird. I'm going to try to make it quick. We print money in our treasury, and then we take that money in bills and we hand it over to the Federal Reserve. And until we do that, it's not real money. It's like counterfeit money. It's like fake money. But when they get it in their hands and then they wave their magic wand over it, then it becomes real. And then we borrow it from them. So we'll carry over 1,000 bills, let's say $100,000 in bills. We'll carry it over there and we'll say, hey guys, we just printed this out. Here you go. And they're like, oh, cool, thank you. And then they wave their magic wand over it and poof, it turns into $100,000. And then we turn around and go, hey, we need to borrow $100,000. And they say, no problem, here you go. And they slide the same money that we just printed and handed to them back to us. Well, that sounds cool, wonderful, but there's a catch. Now we're in debt for $100,000, so they put a little notation on our bill. You owe us $100,000, sign here. And the federal government signs there. Okay, we owe the Federal Reserve $100,000. That's how it's done. That's where they get their money. So the Federal Reserve is a private corporation. It's owned by families. It actually has stock, but you can't buy stock. Only those families can have stock. Eventually, the American people will wake up and find this stuff out, and they're going to stop it. And we're certainly going to stop paying interest on money that we created. I mean, that makes no sense at all. So hopefully we'll be able to get this audit the Fed thing done. We know, that we're in debt by $14 trillion. I believe the Federal Reserve probably spent $16 trillion this year bailing out countries all over the world and their banks. So, it would be nice to know where we're spending all this money, because once it's all spent, guess who's on the hook for it? Well, you say, oh, the federal government's on the hook for it. No, don't you understand who the federal government is? That's you. That's your children. That's who's on the hook. If you think that those guys that voted for all this spending are on the hook, you're wrong. What they're doing is collecting the cash. They're getting rich. The senators and the president and all the congressmen, they go into office poor or relatively well off and come out very rich and continue their growth, and then they're protected by the government. Many of them get Secret Service for life. They get huge amounts of money for the rest of their life. So they're not the government. They're the siphons. They're the suckers. They suck everything from us. We're the government. We're responsible. You and me and your kids and my kids. We're the ones that got to pay. So when you think about it and you think $16 trillion and you're thinking, what's $16 trillion? Think of it this way. Stack $100 bills to the moon and back. And when you get done stacking it maybe 5 or 6 times, give me a call and I'll let you know how much longer it's going to take until you get to the trillion mark. And they're spending $16 trillion this year on bailing out other countries and banks and companies of their choice. Not companies that we choose, companies they choose. That's why I support Ron Paul. I believe in a free market. How can there be a free market if you've got the government choosing winners and losers? How can I work like crazy to build my company and then have the government come in and say, we don't really like that business, so we're going to support your competitors. We're going to make it easier on your competitors to make money, which of course will put you out of business. Or do some other strange thing. I mean, there's so many different things that the government can do to ruin your business. For example, they can change regulations that just make it disappear. If they don't like you or what you have to say, or if they don't like your company or they don't like what you're doing, you're gone. And there's nothing you can do about it. Even if you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and all your time and effort and your entire family fortune building your company, that's just the way it is. So that's why I support Ron Paul, and that's why I believe that our country is going to have to change, and I believe that our country will change. It's just a matter of time. So if you guys want to know about Ron Paul and you don't know about him, Google him, YouTube, type in Ron Paul. You want to find out how popular he is, scroll back to the back of my videos. The very first one was my most popular one, the Tampa debates, and I was there with my camera, and it was really popular. You can see the difference. I walked around. Quite a video. So, good talking to you guys. Don't forget, keep your eyes on what's going on in the country, and don't let the media drag you around and tell you who to vote for. Vote for who you think is the right person. Good talking to you. Bye.